welcome back to our class. For today, we're going to continue our lesson yesterday about physical changes or the changes in the state of matter, okay? So let's review the vocabulary words once again. We have melting point, freezing point, boiling point, condensation, evaporation, rate, steam, water vapor, exposed surface, temperature, sublimation, deposition, and frost. So for today, we're going to study about sublimation, deposition, okay? Yesterday, we already studied this one, but this one is a diagram, okay? So I hope you will understood better, okay? So when solid changes into liquid, it's called melting. And when liquid changes into solid, it's called freezing, okay? Again, when solid changes into liquid, it's called melting. When liquid changes into solid, it's called freezing, okay? And this one, when liquid changes into gas, there's two possible answers, okay? We have boiling and evaporation, okay? So boiling happens when the temperature reaches 100 degrees Celsius, okay? When the liquid or the water changes into gas at 100 degrees Celsius. Below 100 degrees Celsius, it's called evaporation, okay? And then when gas changes into liquid, it's called condensation, okay? I hope you understood this changes in the state of matter, okay? Now, so for today, we're going to study about sublimation and deposition, okay? So there are instances that solid can change directly into gas without changing into the liquid state first, okay? Usually it's solid changing into liquid and then changing into gas. But there are instances that solid can change into gas directly, okay? So this is called sublimation, okay? Sublimation, you go back to the vocabulary word. What is sublimation? Sublimation, okay? So I hope you understand this, okay? And then when gas changes into solid directly, okay? Gas changes to solid directly, it's called deposition, or sometimes it's called reverse sublimation, okay? Deposition or reverse sublimation, okay? Be familiar with this one, okay? It will be in your test. Okay, you have to understand these processes, okay? It's very important that you remember what are the processes. When gas change to liquid, what do we call that process? When gas change to solid, what do we call that process, okay? So you will go to your student book, huh? Okay, if you have your student book, you can open it to page 78, okay? So earlier we said that when solid changes to gas directly, it's called sublimation, okay? Let's read in your book. Okay, a substance in solid state can change directly into its gaseous state. This process is called sublimation, okay? It's called sublimation. An example is dry ice. I hope you know what is dry ice, okay? Dry ice is carbon dioxide in its solid state, okay? So when you make carbon dioxide into solid, it's called dry ice. Okay, now when dry ice sublimes, it changes directly into gaseous states, okay? So in here, it is used to create stage effects, okay? So this is a process of sublimation. Another example of an substance that can undergo sublimation is iodine, okay? In Protom 6, we're going to study about sublimation again, okay? So this one is a change in the state, okay? So from solid changing into gas directly, okay? And then we have deposition, okay? Or sometimes this is called reverse sublimation. This is the opposite of sublimation. This is when gas changes into solid, okay, directly, okay? So a substance in gaseous state can change directly to its solid state. This is called deposition, okay? So an example is frost, okay? What is frost? Go back to the vocabulary. So when the air temperature is very cold, okay, water vapor in the air, okay, we know that there's water vapor in the air. Now when the temperature goes down, okay, it's very cold. Now the water vapor in the air deposits into ice crystals, okay, on surfaces, so they become frost, okay. These ice crystals are called frost, okay. Another example is snow, okay. Snow is an example of deposition. So in the air, in places that have snow, so when the temperature goes down, the water vapor in the air changes into solid. They become snow, okay, and then it will fall, okay. So it's another process of, it's an example of deposition as well, okay. Again, we have sublimation. Let's go back. Sublimation is when solid changes into gas directly, okay. So an example is carbon dioxide or dry ice changing into carbon dioxide gas, okay. It sublimes, okay. And then we have deposition, when gas or water vapor changes into solid, okay. It can be frost or it can be snow, okay. I hope you understood our lesson about the changes in the state of matter, okay. So we're going to answer your workbook, page 79, okay. I will explain, but you have to answer by yourself. And we're going to answer your workbook as well, page 50, okay. Okay, so page 79 on your student book. Okay, for number one, you study the photos below and then fill in the blanks. So when we heat solid metal, so this one is metal. When you heat solid metal, it turns into liquid, okay? So you can melt solid metal and it turns into liquid. Now this process is called what? I already said. Okay, what's the answer? Okay, now we can pour liquid metal into a mold. When liquid metal cools, okay, when liquid metal cools down, it changes into what state? Okay, I hope you understand. It's easy. Okay, this one you have to answer a process. What process is it? When solid turns into liquid. Okay, and this one, when liquid cools down, it will change into what state? Okay, what state? Okay. Okay, for number two, water in the bowl. This water in the bowl blank to become water vapor. This process can be affected by the areas of blank surface. Okay, so water in the bowl blank to become water vapor. So what's that process when the water changes into water vapor? Okay, and this process can be affected by the area of the blank surface. What affects this process? Okay, what affects this process? And number three, sublimation is the process whereby a substance changes from a blank state to a gaseous state without becoming blank. Okay, so sublimation, you go back to page 78, okay? It's the process whereby a substance changes from what state into what state, okay? Into gaseous state without the becoming blank, okay? Without becoming what stage, okay? Dry ice sublimes to become blank gas, okay? This one you can answer. Go back to page 78, okay? Okay, now we go to workbook exercise 2. That's on page 50, okay? Get your workbook and open it on page 50. Okay, so in your workbook, page 50, number 2, physical changes, identify each of the processes below. Okay, so right, it's easy, right? What process? So when water vapor changes into frost, what do we call that process? When water changes into ice, what do we call that process? When steam changes into water, what's that process? When dry ice changes into carbon dioxide, what do we call that process? And when water changes into steam, what do we call that process? Okay, it's easy. I hope you understood the changes in the state of matter. Okay, bye.